Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I study throughout the Chinese New Year holiday. So during the holidays, I usually wake up a bit later than usual, maybe around 7ish. The first thing I do in the morning is my miracle morning routine, and I will just have some quiet time with myself. I will do my devotions, I read Jesus Calling and the Message, and afterwards I try to write every morning. So sometimes I'll write in my journal and other times I'll just work on my book. So this morning I was working on my book, which is called Strong Enough, and I'll just set my timer for 10 minutes and write for 10 minutes straight. Mornings are usually the only part of the day where I have time to sit down and write, so that's why I do it in the morning. Recently, I've been trying to exercise in the morning, so I will usually go for a run or just do some workouts at home. Today I worked out for 30 minutes, and after that I just showered and had breakfast, which was bread, and this thing I don't know what it's called in English, and then finally I can sit down at my desk and take out my bullet journal and plan out my day. Since it is the Chinese New Year holidays, I have a lot of homework, so in the morning I'll just turn to the page where I write down all my holiday homework, as you can see here, and I'll just see what things I still have to get done today, and I will transfer those items into my daily plan. So one thing I love about holidays is that I get to spend the entire day at home, and I can spend the entire day being productive, which is what I love doing. So usually when I'm going to spend the entire day at home, I will use an entire page in my bullet journal dedicated to that day, and I will write out a detailed timeline on how I'm going to allocate each hour of my time and what tasks I'm going to do during that time. For this day, I wrote down what I did in the morning, which was working out and stuff, and then I planned in my study time and break times so that I know what to do next. Okay, now on to some real studying. So the first task I did in the morning was a Chinese past paper. I have a bunch of past papers at home to practice for my exams, and Chinese is one of my worst subjects. It is my worst subject, so I just did a past paper on Chinese reading comprehension because I suck at it, and I did that for around 45 minutes. Next, I took some notes for the short story we're doing for English literature. We're reading The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, and so I just took out the study guide our teacher gave us and wrote down some important points from there, and I also looked at some character analysis and other summaries online and copied down some more notes from there, and I did that for around 30 minutes. After that, I took a 15-minute break and used my phone for a bit, and then I went to watch a play that our teacher sent us. It is our Chinese homework for this year. We have to watch a play and then take some notes and analyze it, kind of. So that's what I did for the remainder of the morning.
So I'm a little bit behind schedule because I am still just 20 minutes until I finish the play. Now I'm hungry and it's lunchtime, so I'm going to go down and get some lunch for myself, and while I'm eating my lunch, I'm going to watch The Hobbit for a bit.
And that is exactly what I did. I went down to get a vegetarian lunchbox, and then I came home and watched The Hobbit for around half an hour.
Yes!
After an hour of relaxing, it was already 1, so I sat down with my bullet journal and planned out the rest of my afternoon. Because I usually don't plan out my entire day in one go, I kind of plan the morning, and then after I eat lunch and stuff, I will plan the afternoon. This is really helpful because it makes me less stressed and frustrated. Like, if I didn't finish all the tasks in the morning, I will just move on to the afternoon and I won't have a lot of undone tasks with no time to finish them. So I think separating my planning sessions into different parts of the day is really helpful for me. Anyway, after that I just wrote my book for around 30 minutes because it's the holiday and I really wanted to catch up with my writing, so I just spent 30 minutes finishing the chapter in my book. And after that, I did something which I haven't done in a long time, and it is I did some language learning. So I learned German by myself, and I was pretty good last year, but this year I just kind of fell off the wagon and I haven't practiced in a long time. And since I had some free time today, I just studied some German using German Pod 101 and Duolingo. And afterwards, I took out my German version of the Book Thief and read a couple pages. I usually just read most of it by myself, but if there are words I don't know, I will Google Translate them and write them down in my book. Afterwards, I took a half-hour break in which I read a Sherlock fanfic that was really good, and then I just planned out the rest of my day on my bullet journal. And then I went back to some actual schoolwork, so I did some chemistry practice problems on polarity, I think. Yeah, I did some textbook questions just to review what I had learned the week before. And then I took some textbook notes on history. We're learning about Southeast Asia right now, so I just wrote down 2 pages of notes that we had taught last week. And this took me around 30 to 40 minutes. Next, for liberal studies, I read a book that contained simple answers for past paper questions, and so I just read those simple answers and kind of acquainted myself with the question types. Oh, and I was also eating a cheesecake during that time. Before dinner, I also finished up some of the work that I hadn't finished in the morning. Like, I finished watching my play and stuff, and I also wrote some more notes. And then it was dinner time, and then afterwards I went back to my bullet journal and checked off a few items. After dinner, I also went to watch the news with my family, and then I went back to my desk and wrote a short summary for this passage we're learning for Chinese class, and I just wrote a little chart. After that, I watched a YouTube video hosted by one of my favorite people on the internet talking about one of my favorite books of this year. So basically, I have to do a project on The Catcher in the Rye, so I just watched John Green's video about that, and I also took some notes from the videos to prepare for my project. And with that, I finished my to-do list, and that also completes this video. So after I finished all my work, I just basically chilled out for the rest of the evening. I read a bit, and I also watched a bit of TV. And that's basically my study routine for the Chinese New Year holidays. I try to balance fun and work reasonably, so this routine is kind of what I've come up with. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it might help you stay motivated to work and study during the holidays. I don't know, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!